joining me for today's MediPharm Labs PK session. My name is Desiree Seifert and I am a Territory Manager for MediPharm Labs here in Ontario. If you know where the Golden Horseshoe is, that's where you might meet me. I am so excited to take you through all of our products and our brands, as well as a brand origin story, so you can get to know a little bit about who we are, where we came from, and why we're doing what we're doing today. So buckle up, sit down, grab some snacks, and let's learn. All right, so before we dive into products, let's take a look at our origin story that brought us to where we are today. So let's go back all the way to the early days of legalization. MediPharm Labs wasn't actually a consumer-facing brand, but we were operating in a B2B capacity, or business to business. So what this means is we essentially were producing products for other cannabis companies, or LPs, as the extraction experts. As extraction experts, we had the ability to produce pretty much anything that anyone was looking for, but there were some gaps in the market that we identified that were just not being serviced by the existing products. And we wanted to create some of these options for consumers. And in the background, our founder and president, Keith, was actually having a conversation with Shoppers Medical Cannabis, who let him know that they were having a very difficult time getting CBD oil and keeping it in stock for their medical customers on their cannabis platform. So we suggested, we're swimming in CBD oil. We may as well produce it for you. What a perfect fit. Shoppers Medical Cannabis, made by MediPharm Labs. But unbeknownst to us at the time, they actually wanted the MediPharm Labs brand of CBD oil, which didn't exist. So it was kind of a perfect moment for us to create this brand, create products for that medical market, and then due to their success, we thought, let's remove these barriers to access and allow recreational and medical consumers to access high quality products no matter where they're coming from, whether it's wellness or medical. We have everybody covered. So before we take our next steps into product information, there's a little bit more that you need to know about MediPharm Labs as a business. You've probably heard our slogan, quality you can trust, and you know that those are two very heavy, big words with a lot of meaning. To ask customers to trust that you are producing quality products is a really difficult thing to do. So we wanted to back all of this up by having the licensing and certificate to prove that we stand behind our mission to deliver quality products that you can trust to deliver the results that you're looking for. So the first of these certifications is our GMP certification. That stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. And it's okay if you haven't heard that term before. It is primarily used in pharmaceutical production, and it's the gold standard of manufacturing. Essentially what it means is that we have very tight SOPs, or standard operating procedures, that we need to follow in order to ensure consistency and high quality so that every batch we make is perfect. So what is the real world application of GMP? It means, one, we cannot and do not take shortcuts when it comes to cost savings. It's simply not possible with the rigorous standards that we need to upkeep. And two, we test multiple times throughout our process. We actually installed a testing facility in our space so that we have the ability to not only test our input materials for contaminants like mold, like mildew, or pesticides, and beyond that, we can test our product throughout the process to ensure we adhere to a really tight potency standard so your customer isn't relearning every time how to dose the product that they need. Beyond that, this standard applies to every component we have in our space. So this is everything from the extraction machines to the bottles that we use. It actually took us 3 years to tune our machinery to GMP standards. It's not plug and play. This is something that encompasses everything that we do at MediPharm Labs. And finally, I think the most real life example of that GMP standard is looking at our packaging. We opted for pharmaceutical grade amber glass bottles that have been used for centuries in apothecary. They reduce oxidization through light and heat, and they keep your product really stable. You also don't have to worry about the woes of plastic that is porous and can potentially leach compounds out of your oil or plastic compounds into it. The goal here is that your consumer's product is perfect from the moment they open it to 6 months from now if they pick it up again and they had forgotten about it. Shelf stability is key. In addition to our GMP certification, we also hold a license called a Drug Establishment License. This might sound a little nerdy, but it is pretty stinking cool if you ask me, because we are the first cannabis company in North America to acquire this license. And on top of that, there are only 4 cannabis companies globally that hold it. And it's probably not something you've heard of before, and that's okay. Essentially, this means that we're held to the same standard as pharmaceutical companies worldwide. So this means if you think to a bottle of Advil, for example, every pill in that bottle is the same. Every bottle in that lot is the same, and every lot is the same as the one before it and the one after it. So as much as licenses and certifications are really cool, if you ask me, we also were very fortunate to win the CBD Brand of the Year award, as voted by bud tenders, the heartbeat of the industry, and retailers like you. This means the absolute world to us because you guys have the most access to information and product, and you are the true experts. So if you think we're the best, it's gotta be true. So as we continue on this journey learning about MediPharm Labs, Northbound, Wildlife, and Wayfarer, I'm going to give you a little bit more in-depth information on why our products are just so special. So first things first, pharmaceutical quality. Being that we have this GMP certification and our drug establishment license, this means that we are the only certified and validated pharmaceutical quality, and we are available to everyone. We've removed the barriers of accessing medical cannabis, whether you have a doctor who isn't a fan of cannabis, or whether you're not tech savvy enough to get onto one of those really fun cannabis portals and talk to a doctor through a camera. We wanted to make it so that you can access your wellness products from absolutely anywhere. Each MediPharm Labs product is produced to target specific cannabinoid potencies and ratios to be as effective as possible for the majority of consumers. There was nobody behind the scenes saying 25-1, that seems like a cool ratio, let's try it. We have PhD educated scientists backing our research and development that ensure that we're producing the most effective products possible. So we've talked about product potency and that consistency a little bit already, but it is really key for both you and the consumer to be able to really easily sell this product and use this product if we maintain a super consistent potency. So the lowest you're ever going to see our CBD 25, for example, is 23.7 milligrams of CBD per milliliter. It is such a tiny window that your customer doesn't even need to adjust their dose to ensure that each time they're taking a milliliter or a half milliliter of our oil, it's just as effective as the last one they were taking. Furthermore, the base oil that you use is almost as important as the cannabinoids that you're putting into it. In our particular case, we use an MCT oil that is a 50-50 split of palm and coconut oil. In an ideal world, we would have opted for a palm-free alternative, but the reality is when you're a GMP company, all of your vendors need to be qualified to your quality standards. And we simply could not find an alternative option that wasn't containing palm oil. So what we did do was locate a vendor that was able to provide a sustainably and ethically sourced MCT. In addition to that, it is cruelty-free, which is a huge win for me. On top of that, we know that MCT oil can be irritating for some people's digestive systems, so keep an eye out in the near future for an olive oil format coming very soon. MediPharm Labs is committed to pushing this industry forward through innovation with minor cannabinoids. Not only were we some of the first to produce CBN products, but we also have welcomed CBG into the market. On top of all of this, we're participating in research studies and trials so that we can support these products with clinical evidence to show that they do exactly what we say they're supposed to. And finally, and most importantly, we strive to offer a product for every person and every occasion in their life. So whether that's an intoxicating product like a THC or something like a CBG that's just going to be an everyday wellness tool, there's something in our portfolio for everyone. So it's time. We finally made it. We get to dive into product. But before we get into specs, I'm going to take you through the naming conventions because I think it's pretty important that we know why products are called what they're called. In this particular case, this is the MediPharm Labs CBD 25 regular formula. I know that sounds like a super long name, but it is actually all very intentional. We were the first brand to put the dose of oil per milliliter in the name. This is really key to help your customers shop the product as easily as possible when they see, that's my dose. On top of that, we've called it the regular formula, but we also offer a plus and an ultra formula. So if you think back again to that Advil metaphor, think about a regular strength versus an extra strength versus potentially an Advil migraine. Your customer will more easily be able to determine where they sit in our ladder of CBD oils. Do they need a regular formula because they're just trying it out for the first time, or are they an ultra girl and they need all the punch that CBD can pack? This is going to guide both you and them to the perfect product. So across the board for our CBD oils, there are a few things that are the same. For one is the MCT oil base. It's that 50-50 palm and coconut base that is sustainably and ethically sourced as well as cruelty-free. Into that, we infuse a full spectrum concentrate that contains all of the benefits and goodness that CBD has to offer. If you think about orange juice from concentrate versus a fresh squeezed orange, there are going to be some major benefits to choosing the fresh squeezed than something that is more processed. And that's essentially what you want to think about when it comes to full spectrum. You're getting the whole plant in its best form. Each of the CBD oils in the MediPharm Labs portfolio contain a 25-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC. This is very intentional. I've heard a lot of it's a byproduct of extraction, or it's really hard to isolate CBD without THC, but that's just not the reality for our products. A 25-to-1 ratio is there to ensure you have the most effective CBD that is able to bind to your receptors without getting lost. The analogy that I like to use with my customers to make it a little bit less scary is to describe thinking of CBD as little brother and THC as big brother. Big brother is going to take CBD or little brother to school, but they're not going to go inside and like make macaroni jewelry or art for mom. They're just going to make sure that CBD gets from point A to point B, and that's it. So CBD 25, who is this product for? This is either your first-time consumer who's looking for a great first impression when it comes to trying CBD. We have to remember that when it comes to wellness, customers have often gone down a lot of different avenues to address whatever wellness concerns they have. So going with a low price or low potency option just to save them the money in case it doesn't work is a big risk, because you're risking that that customer is going to try a product that isn't potent enough or isn't effective, and they're going to think that CBD is snake oil and it doesn't work. We don't want that. This is also a great option for your price-conscious consumer, someone who's not looking to spend $89 per bottle of oil, but they still want the benefits of CBD in their daily regimen. CBD 25 is perfect for them. So when introducing CBD to a new consumer, it can be kind of challenging. There's a lot of misinformation out there, all kinds of different products. And the one thing that I'd love for you to remember is that CBD is your multivitamin. It's to be taken every single day, not like in the moment like an Advil. When you take it daily, you allow your body to build that CBD level up to the therapeutic threshold so you can continue to reap its benefits day after day. On top of all that, would you believe that there is a basement lowest dose of CBD that you should be taking? The reality is we hear start low and go slow all the time, but if you start too low with CBD, you're not going to get the real effects you're looking for. Anything under a 25 milligram dose per day is going to be more of a placebo effect and just your brain saying, hey, we're doing something good for us, so we should feel good. But the reality is that after a couple of days, that placebo effect will wear off, and your consumer is going to be left thinking, does CBD really work? The answer is yes. If you have the appropriate starting dose, you're working with a full spectrum product and you're taking it at an appropriate regimen, the right ratio of cannabinoids, all of these things can come together to truly change your life. And the way, if you ask me, to introduce that is to have your customer make notes. What are the things that are bothering them in their day-to-day life? What are they hoping that CBD will help with? We're not talking anxiety or sleep or any of those no-no words in the store. All they're doing is making notes for themselves so they can look back after 3 to 4 days of taking their CBD oil and say, are those symptoms or concerns still there? If yes, that's an indication that they likely need to increase their dose. And if no, at least that way they can recognize the absence of those sensations rather than, if you think like THC, it's really easy to recognize a high. So going back to that, you give the control to your customer to determine what dose they need so they can listen to their body and adjust as needed. Moving on to MediPharm Labs CBD 50 Plus formula. This is your bread and butter Goldilocks oil. It's the first one that we recommend bringing in from our portfolio as it's going to have the most potential to reach the most consumers. Whether your customer is looking for their CBD oil to last a little bit longer by taking a smaller dose, or they've found that 50 milligrams is their perfect every day, CBD 50 is a great option. CBD 50 comes with a total of 1,500 milligrams of CBD in the bottle and a 50-to-2 ratio of CBD to THC. You got it, 25-to-1, just doubled. Each of our oils also comes with a full milliliter syringe, so if you have that customer who's looking for their oil to last longer, they can just dose out a half milliliter. It's a super easy and flexible option for your consumer that fits just right. Fun fact, did you know that our CBD 50 is currently being studied in a Health Canada funded trial at McMaster University? We're looking to see what the effects of our CBD are on chronic anxiety and depression. And soon you'll have real scientific studies to cite when talking to your consumers about how CBD can work for them. And now onto MediPharm Labs CBD 100 Ultra Formula. This is my personal favorite and our maximum potency that you can get in the MediPharm Labs portfolio. It's 3,000 total milligrams of CBD and 100 milligrams in every milliliter syringe. This product is the perfect choice for a consumer who's looking for a higher dose of CBD daily. But if you don't take that much CBD every day, that's okay too. This is a great value option for a customer who wants an ounce bag of CBD. With 3,000 total milligrams, you can break this down to a 25 milligram a day dose, and the bottle will last you months. MediPharm Labs isn't all about non-intoxicating products. We have a fantastic THC 30 plus formula. This is a total of 900 milligrams of THC in the bottle, and one of very few options that are full spectrum out there. On top of that, it's packaged in this fantastic pharmaceutical grade amber glass. So as your consumer is picking this up more recreationally, you know that if it's 6 months from now that they grab that bottle, the potency and the flavor are going to be just like they were on day one. This product is packed with a 0.3 milliliter syringe. It's a total of 30 milligrams per milliliter, but in order to be within Health Canada's standards, we had to break that down to 0.3, so it's 10 milliliters per activation. But in the end, when it comes to THC 30, there's only one thing that I really want you to remember. It just tastes better. It's time to talk CBN. Introducing MediPharm Labs CBN 1-2 Nighttime Formula. As you can see when you look at the bottle, when you look at the name, we've cued a couple very specific things. Nighttime and dark purple. These are all meant to cue the customer that this product was formulated for sleep. On top of that, this product is currently a part of a Health Canada funded study at McMaster University looking for the effects of CBN on chronic insomnia. It's pretty stinking cool. With a total of 300 milligrams of CBN and 600 milligrams of THC, this 1-2 ratio was formulated to be the most effective at helping your customer both fall asleep and stay asleep. Unlike our CBD oils, this product is made with a more refined CBN material. This means that it's not a full spectrum, but the goal here was efficacy and not necessarily overall wellness. And when you think of the type of customer that's coming into your store asking for a product to help them sleep, they're typically a newer consumer who doesn't have a taste for cannabis yet. So providing them with a lighter flavor option makes this a lot more palatable and incredibly effective for their needs. Just like our THC oil, this product is packed with a 0.3 milliliter syringe, and that is a perfect starting dose for anyone new to CBN. It packs much more of a punch than you would expect, and it's a great idea to start with that dose before going any further. I generally find if your consumer is waking up feeling a little bit groggy, they're either taking too much or they're taking the oil a little bit too late and it's still working in their system. So it's a good idea to indicate that this is a sign of dosing too high or to take it a little bit earlier. So to summarize, basically if you have a customer who's walking through your doors and saying that they need an indica or some help with sleep, this is a good sign that the MediPharm Labs CBN 1-2 nighttime formula is the product for them. If you have a customer who's not comfortable with THC, good news. We created the CBN 1-2 Relax formula. This is formulated just substituting the THC for CBD. So it's 600 total milligrams of CBD and 300 milligrams of CBN. Most people will find that this product's more effective at helping them stay asleep rather than that initial drowsy, heavy body, heavy eyelid kind of onset, but it can still improve your overall rest. Just like the CBN nighttime formula, this is made with a refined CBN formulation, so it's super light in flavor. But unlike it, it's packed with a full milliliter syringe. Because we don't have THC present in here, your customer can dose to their heart's content. If 1 milliliter feels good for them, they can dose that way, or they can increase or decrease as needed. Because this product is effectively THC-free, it also makes a great daytime option. If you're looking for all of the benefits of THC without the high, look to CBN. If you think about the anti-inflammatory benefits, pain control, anti-anxiety, stress reduction, that tension release, that is what CBN feels like to me. It's a product that I'll use before a big presentation or after a really tough workout if my muscles are really feeling it, and I find the CBN takes away all of those symptoms that I'm really hoping to address. And last but not least, we have the MediPharm Labs CBG CBD 1-2 Advanced Formula. I am not joking, you guys, when I tell you this product changes lives. Mine included. CBG has a whole host of potential therapeutic and wellness benefits, but the ones that I experienced personally are game-changing. I start every day with a milliliter of our CBG CBD oil, and I know when I take that oil, I'm going to have a great day. All of the little pet peeves that typically get under your skin just don't bother me, and I'm able to walk through life with a smile on. On top of the mood benefits, I also find this to be an incredible digestive regulator. As someone who is waking up every single day nauseous with vomiting sometimes once a week or more, this is a product that has literally taken me from that to never feeling nauseous. Within the first month of taking it, I looked back and I was nauseous twice, and that was it. What a game changer. This is a total of 300 milligrams of CBG and 600 milligrams of CBD per bottle. There's a couple of reasons that we've paired them. For one, CBD and CBG can bind to your receptors at the same time. They're not fighting for supremacy like CBD and THC are. They're simply going to work better together. On top of that, for customers who are fans of CBD, it's going to be a lot easier for them to take the dive into trying a new cannabinoid when it's paired with something else non-intoxicating that could give them some even better benefits. And finally, this has some amplification properties. So whether you're looking to pair it with CBD, THC, or any of the other myriad of fantastic cannabinoids that we offer, this is going to make them feel a little bit stronger. So for me personally, I had to cut my dose of 100 milligrams of CBD a day down to 50 because this was making such an impact. Unlike so many other products on the market that are synthetic, our CBG is not only full spectrum, but also cannabis derived. You're getting the benefits of the whole plant, and it's coming right from the source. We learned a lot of information today. If you're having a little trouble remembering, that's okay, we came prepared. There are 3 things that you need to remember. 1, MediPharm Labs is the only certified and validated pharmaceutical quality cannabis available on the continent. 2, they're true full spectrum. There are a lot of products on the market that are presented as full spectrum, but are flavorless or colorless or odorless, and that's simply not possible. When it comes to MediPharm Labs, know that when we say full spectrum, you can trust us. And 3, they're the best tasting full spectrum option that you're gonna get. Think of this as Goldilocks. Not too strong, not too light, just right. And that's it for MediPharm Labs, but we're not done, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the trip northbound. That's you too.
No, I like it.
I like it.
I think it's
You
dope.
could pop a little logo or something there.
Yeah.
I don't know.